All right, guys, well, I'm back today with a budget 22 that recently hit the market. We are looking at the Retay RXP22, and I'm really excited I grabbed this one for the channel. I started seeing this pop up in some of my email alerts, and I started getting a lot of questions about this particular 22 because a lot of guys know I like to review high value items, and I also love 22s and suppressors, and this one really packs all of that into one package. We're here today to give you the entire truth and overview of this brand new 22. Now, I purchased it myself. I have no affiliation with the company, but even if I did, that wouldn't stop me from giving it an honest and fair evaluation. One of the first things you'll notice about this handgun is it truly is a complete package. You get the pistol itself, which is a threaded barrel optics cut 22, which is already pretty awesome, especially at the price point. 2 mags in the box, an optics adapter plate, and your gun lock. So everything you would need to start off. And these are actually 13-round magazines, which is a nice touch over a lot of those standard 10-round magazines you saw back in the day on budget 1022s. Now, the real kicker is the price point. These can be easily found under $2 so you were looking at a sub $200 22 with an optics cut threaded barrel and 2 mags in the box. That is darn good value if it works, and we will start talking about that in the reliability section as well as the ammo selection. Let's talk about a little bit about the basic specs and features, the ergonomics, the feel, and the overall just kind of accessories that are going to be compatible with this particular pistol. Now, starting at the grip and kind of working our way up, you have a very ergonomic feeling pistol. I wear size large mechanics gloves and my hand fits really good. Now, if you wore size X or double XL, the grip may be a little bit truncated for you, but honestly, I think you could go a little bit bigger hand size than a large and still get a good grip on this gun. It's got a really nice beaver tail, very comfortable grip, and it does have kind of those extensions on the mags themselves. And speaking of the mags, these guys are actually weighted all metal mags with a little clip on the side allowing you to pull that down and easily load these mags. These are some of the easiest loading 22 pistol mags I've seen. It's hard to kind of mess up. They are a single stack only. I would like to see some type of double stack, but again, just kind of coming in that high value and budget category, these are fine, especially with the fact that they do hold 13 rounds. I really like that. The red followers are very easy to see. Again, they're super easy to load. You don't have to worry about breaking feed lips because it's an all metal weighted magazine and it comes with 2 in the box. There is pros and cons of having an all-metal magazine in a 22 like this. And these are not lightweight metal mags. They feel like a full-size mag. So for training purposes and the fact that they'll drop free and you know you're not going to break them, that's an immense plus. But for like a bug out or prepping 22 where lightweight is key, where you may be backpacking in somewhere, having these weighted mags is definitely a con because it adds a lot of weight to the system. Not enough weight to matter when it comes to kind of carrying it around maybe inside your vehicle as like a get home pistol or a training pistol or a range pistol. But if you were using it for something like a true bug out bag or maybe like a camp pistol where you're hiking 10 miles in, hey, a little less weight would be nice, but they are very durable magazines. Moving up, you do have the safety right here. It is only on one side, so left-handed shooters are just going to have to deal with that. It's very easy to actuate. It doesn't really get in the way of anything. You can actually ride over the top of that safety while you're firing, and this is a single double-action pistol, but there is no decocker. So when you do chamber the round, the hammer stays back whether the safety is on or off. The safety disengages the trigger completely from the hammer. When you put it on, now you can fire. Now you've got a very smooth take up. I am going to block that hammer and keep my hand out of the way while pulling that trigger. And then you have a little, I wouldn't even say a little sponge. I mean, yeah, that break is crisp and clean. Now, the trigger is going to be heavier than some like match grade 1911 trigger, but it's pretty darn good for a 22, and it does an amazing job down at the range if you wanted to kind of use this as a little tack driving plinker. Moving up to the front, you do have one pick rail section, and the magazine release is kind of integrated into the grip itself, and it really blends in, so you're not going to accidentally hit it, but it is fairly easy to drop that one-handed, no issues whatsoever. And then again, those mags drop free because they are weighted mags. Moving along to the slide release or the slide lock, that's oversized. It works out really well. Doesn't get in the way though, doesn't accidentally lock back. The takedown lever is very easy to operate, and the takedown is very simple. I've done it a couple times to kind of look internally to see if we're getting any weird wear. We're not, but again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the reliability section. The slide. The slide itself really reminds me of like a SIG 226. Back when SIG was freaking awesome. Threaded barrel, 1/2x28, but you don't have to worry about those weird internal threads and the adapters. It just sticks out nice and far, and it's machined into that solid barrel. 1/2x28 threads, comes with removable high-vis sights, and this is optics cut. Let's talk about that optics cut because Retay did some freaking awesome things with this optic cut. You can direct mount the optic to the slide like you see here, and what you're looking at is a RMR, but you can also direct mount an RMSC optic to here, so 2 mounting footprints integrated. One thing to note though is the RMR takes up the full cut as you see here. It lines up perfectly, it drops in, it rocks in solid. The O-light just happened to match color perfect, and we actually took it on multiple range trips that we didn't film and ran it with the O-light with the full-size RMR to give you guys some more info. And it ran great, but it does mount up the RMSC, but you will have a gap in the front and the back. Looks a little weird to be honest, but you can remedy that with the adapter plate. Now, what you saw in the intro was running an RMSC on the adapter plate where this does fill up all the gaps. You bolt that in and you're good to go. Now, a lot of guys are going to ask about a lot of the mounting footprints. Again, check that description for more info, but you were looking at, I believe, M3s to direct mount an RMSC to the slide, M3.5x6s, I believe, the standard M3.5 screws to mount up RMRs direct to the side. That gives you also M3.5s to mount up the mounting plate, which are included in the box, and then from there, all of the cut holes inside here, I believe, are M3.5, and you can direct mount a ton of different optics to the optics plate after you've mounted it up. So this is the most versatile optics mounting pistol I've ever had, period. I mean, not just budget, not just 22s, ever. It's pretty darn awesome. Now, because it is so versatile, it's not going to be ideal for everything, but I believe this is truly set up really nice for RMRs to just mount up great, fill up that gap, and not even use that optics plate. And then RMSC is also really good. And let's talk about kind of reliability now and how it shoots, because that kind of just translates really well with adding a big optic to the top of a 22 slide. Back in the day, 22s were notorious for being very finicky when you were running certain ammos. And it's really honestly not a matter of if a 22 will jam, it's when it will jam when it gets dirty enough. 22s run really dirty. So inevitably, after either 20 rounds or 5,000 rounds, at some point it's going to jam because it gets so gummed up with 22 nastiness, especially when you're running a can. And this one did absolutely great. It ran bulk pack ammo out of the box, standard velocity, low velocity ammo out of the box, CCI standard velocity, CCI mini mag, CCI stingers. There was not a single type of ammo that this gun didn't like other than subsonic, but no semi-auto like subsonic. So any standard velocity and up ammo, no matter what the grain weight, this ate it and spit it out like it was nothing, chugged along like a sewing machine. The first issue I ran was right at about 600 to 700 rounds. I had not oiled it out of the box. It started to feel a little sluggish, dropped a couple of drops of oil, and it continued to run. I've never done a deep cleaning on it yet, and we're pushing 1,000 rounds, and a lot of them were with a can. So reliability, I mean, 9 out of 10. I guess you could always get a little bit better. But guys, this is awesome for a budget 22 when it comes to reliability. So it's nice to see. Now, the Taurus TX22s that I've had out on the channel, they're also really reliable. And I would say the mags on the Taurus TX22 will be just a touch more reliable than these mags. These ones I actually did have to wipe down the followers and hit with a touch of oil after about 600 or 700 rounds as well. Not because they wouldn't feed, but because they wouldn't have enough pressure to lock the slide open towards the end of the spring tension right here. But once I did that, they started working great once I wiped them off. Just for reference, I've never had to do that with a TX22 mag. But again, they're reliable, very reliable across the board. No feed issues whatsoever. The mags feed incredibly well. So Retay really killed it when it comes to that. It does run suppressed and unsuppressed with no issues. Very quiet with subsonic or standard velocity ammo, which is going subsonic out of this. And when you add an optic, even with the added weight of the adapter plate and the Sealy RMSC optic, it still ran fine, no issues. And with the optic on the top, it still ran great. Even with bulk pack ammo, it still had enough force to operate and cycle reliably. And the injection pattern was pretty darn good. Very consistent for a 22. Now, inevitably, you are going to have inconsistent ejection patterns occasionally because of the way the 22 ammo is actually loaded. But overall, it was a very solid running gun, with or without an optic, with or without a can, standard velocity and up. In summary, it's good. Is it the best 22 on the market? I don't know. I would like to see more capacity. I would like to see maybe just a touch lighter weight on the magazines. I'm kind of partial to lightweight, large cap mags. But honestly, it's pretty good overall. It doesn't have the greatest trigger ever in the entire existence of 22s, but it doesn't have the worst. It doesn't have the worst ergonomics. It doesn't have the best. It honestly does a lot of things incredibly well, but at an affordable price point. And I personally absolutely love this guy. I think it's a great addition to the world of 22s, especially considering that this is one of the most affordable, out-of-the-box 22s with an optics cut with this much versatility and threaded barrel, especially for sub-2 bills. Hard to beat, in my opinion, at this price point. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did I miss something? Do you guys have other experiences? I really want to hear from you guys. And subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And again, definitely check the description for more information, especially if you're interested. Have a good one.